If you would like to play that exactly the way I'm playing it, with the intention it was composed with, rather than just watching it and like, oh, okay, whatever, and you want to feel that ownership of it, especially if you don't think that you can do it, probably because the method that you've been shown or you have doesn't kind of work to count a couple of things at the same time and switch righty and lefty. But there are different methods for doing that, and I'm going to share them with you if you want to hang with me. And you'll know how to actually play that the way it was composed, which feels different than just an interpretation. All right, so we'll take a look at the first chunk, which sounds like a 4/4 double bass beat, the one that goes do know a couple of things. First of all, I'm using a lefty lead with hands and a righty lead with feet, which if you learn the CNC limb system, you'll learn to mix and match any two pairs. Right now, it's about the rhythmic aspect and perceiving more than one time signature at the same time, because nobody can be in two places at once. So how do you do it? Let's just see what we're dealing with first, all right? So you really get a vibe for what's happening. That beat, you'll notice, has 4 snare drum backbeats before the 17/16 flips to 1. Let's just take a listen to that. So you'll notice that there are 4 snare drum backbeats. But watch how I keep track of those occurrences by what appears to be counting, but that's a dangerous word because the real count is the time signature. So it's just the wording gets a little funky, and I don't want to confuse myself or anyone else. But watch how I keep track of those 4 notes. And we'll put it on. Hold on. Okay. Tell me if when I do this, you hear the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 in your mind. Ready? So when I'm playing 2 time signatures at once, I am literally counting the bass time with numbers. And in my mind, I could hear these words of 1, 2, 3, 4. I picture fingers in the air, or I picture the actual numbers of how many occurrences of things there are. See, so it's not that you're departing the time signature to count a different time signature, because then you're not in the bass time anymore, and you're going to speed up or slow down, which is not appropriate at times if it's not the intention of the composer. So let me tell you, I'm the composer of the rhythmic aspect of this, and I want to explain to you why it's not appropriate to interpret and speed it up and slow it down at will, or to break that phrase up into little chunks that risk the speed up and slow down. Now, you could do whatever you want. You can like or dislike if it speeds up or slows down or stays perfectly in time. But I'm communicating the intention to you. Here's the intention. The intention is that from an artistic perspective, I composed what appears to be a ton of time signature changes when there are none. The whole thing is 17/16. So as the drummer and the rhythmic clock of that machinery, right? That's the intention. So I'm trying to share with you how to play it like I did. In other words, earlier in the video, and I was like, basically, I could show you how to play it like I did. It doesn't mean just mimic it. I really meant like play it with the same intention and feeling that I did. So it's a different experience for you. It's cool. You got to try it if you never have, to any song. You get the composer's intentions, and that's playing the song. That's how I learn songs. I don't interpret stuff unless it's appropriate, the band wants me to, and that's happened numerous times. Or I've come up with an idea and a group of musicians is like, we don't care how it goes, whatever. So it's a different issue. But I'm the composer of that part, and I'm saying that it needs to be No time signature changes, even though it sounds like a ton of them. The sound is different than the actual feeling behind it. Now, why do I say that? Because if the tempo doesn't fluctuate, then you get the full effect of the intention, which is to not have the tempo fluctuate so that those time signature changes would have a specific effect. Do you understand what I mean? So if you're speeding it up and slowing it down, like doing and you just tack 3 at the end or 5 at the end, however you want to hear it, you tend to speed up or slow those down, and that ruins it. So what do? Well, you could count, 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the 3? You see what I'm saying? Or you can count it using the not quite doubled binary counting system. Check out how this way of counting will allow you to keep nailed perfect time, counting 17. But we're going to count 17-8 instead of 17-16. So it's actually 2 bars of 7-16. Listen to how easy this is. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, 1. It's easier to feel that than if you. I wouldn't recommend that you try to count 17-16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. Okay, that's 17-16. But if you just do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, 1. Then those 3, they don't feel like a time signature change. It just feels like 1, instead of which can tend to push you. Are you with me? So that's a hefty explanation. But as I'm doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, 1. See what I did? So that's the benefit of what Ultimate Stickings will really wire up for you. I'm just showing you where the information comes from and how you can learn to own any occurrence of any time signature with any other time signature at the same time, because you're not counting both at the same time. You're counting one but keeping track of the other. Big difference. So that's the Ultimate Stickings. So now, not quite doubled counting. As far as playing lefty hands and righty feet with the CNC limb system, well, the second part that comes up is strict 17, but my hands are split on the 2 hi-hats. Let's watch that for a second. Okay, so what's happening is that my feet and my hands are lining up. I'm watching like a square, a vertical line between the right hand and right foot, and then a vertical line with my left hand and my left foot. So when I'm going, it switches right there. I'm leading lefty with my feet, and I'm doing it with my eyes. And that's how you can learn to do it. Again, with the CNC limb system, it trains all 12 pairing switches. But you also learn to picture the limbs almost in a box. The CNC limb system is about a circle, but essentially those limbs are in a box. And when you're looking out at your limbs, a guitarist can do this too. A guitar, or a bass player, you can see the 4 points right here, the box there. And it doesn't have to be perfect. That's a rhombus, right? So who cares? But so that's how to do that section, is you line up with your eyes. And so that happens again. So I won't explain it twice. But then what appears to be 6/8 section, or almost like a 12/8 section, comes up, like do. Let's listen to that, but it's still 17. So let's listen to it. So this example is actually harder than the 4/4 feeling one, because it really feels like you're hitting every 3/16 notes, and it goes fast. It's hard to stop that momentum, like duka-duka-duka, 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 which is why I'm saying don't count it like that if you want to have the same feeling I did, in order to not speed up or slow down when you get to the end of it, because there are 5 snare drum backbeats here, and you could always like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, da-da-da-da, right? But then you're putting that time change at the end. Remember, with the fingers? So check it out. Counting 17/16 is really brutal if you don't have the secret weapon of counting 9 not quite double. It is really hard to stop the momentum of that duka-duka-duka thing, like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, 8, and 9, 1, and 2, and 3. It's like, oh my gosh, where did that go? It happened so fast. That's the feeling I get from that. Even though I could just sit and do it, doesn't mean it feels the best way. I'm telling you, the 19/8 is the design. I'm sorry, the 17/8 is the design of this. So check it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, 1. Look at how easy that flowed off. You know, and it was 8 and 9, 1. 8 and 9, 1. 1, 2, E and it's like a 1 E and a kind of feeling, instead of duka-duka-duka-duka-duka-duka-duka-duka-duka-duka-duka-duka. And like, oh my gosh, where does the 5 go? You understand what I'm saying? So that is the point. That is the point. Is that it doesn't fluctuate. If you want to play it like I did, you're going to use the same systems that I used. Now, I'm going to hold my fingers up just so you get a sense of that 6/8 feel, the sound of that, as opposed to the feeling that's happening when I'm playing it. You see, I'm not feeling duka-duka-duka, duka-duka-duka, duka-duka, and then throwing a time change in. I'm feeling like 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. That's the feeling to execute it perfectly. So if I put that section on, okay, hold on a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, 1. Okay, so then the end. The 16th note is here, taka, 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 and then the transition into the 12/8, which is half of that speed. So ba 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 ba. That's going to be the 8th note to get into 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 to 12/8 time, which is how I like to perceive it. And again, the composing part of this was done from a perspective of make it sound like there's whacked out time signatures, but there aren't any. So in order to get that perfect feeling, the tempo cannot fluctuate. All right, if you want to play it like I did. And you'll notice that the transition into that main melody section, it almost had that kind of pulse, but I wasn't feeling it like that. I wasn't feeling da 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 da. I was feeling because I still had that 8th note feeling. Do you see what I'm saying? So hopefully you're with me here, where that feeling was the go-to feeling during all the haywire stuff. And during the strict 17/16, it's easy to count. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. Final word, you can count that as 2 5s and a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. You can do that. But if you watch this whole video, think about it for a minute. Think about it. You're switching 3 time signatures there. What are the chances you play that dead on perfectly? It's a little risky. Not that risky. I mean, most people that will play something like that are probably going to count it like that and play it perfectly well, you know. And I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there as an option. You dig into this bad Larry, The counting system's first. CNC limb system is second. Not quite double counting system is third. Two numbers twice where the feels change, the actual grouping, the tuplet groupings change. And then finally you have all the permutations, which is essentially taking every single possible thing that can happen with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 notes, putting them in a 1-0 binary base, getting all of the permutations and using those as phrases. There's nothing you can't play if you go through this, but the skills in keeping two things happening at once require the wiring of the mind and the voice. And when you speak out loud, you can hear your own voice in your head and thoughts like, oh, this is the second chorus. Oh, go to the right. Oh, go to the left. Oh, watch my left foot line up with my right hand, which is a right diagonal if you're looking at the box. See what I mean? All right. Hopefully you enjoyed this massive lesson. It's my way of sharing a lot of really cool information. All right, take it easy.